guys, it's Alexis, aka The Soft Reader, and I'm here today to do my August book haul. As you can see from that thumbnail, this was not a small book haul. I bought a lot of books. To be fair, half of these books are from Book Outlet. At the very beginning of August, I just decided on a whim to check out Book Outlet. They happen to have 6 books that have been on my TBR for quite a while now. And I just haven't found them for the right price, or I haven't been able to like get a good deal on them. And then they had all of these for like under $6, and so I was like, well, no time like the present, and decided to buy them. And then one of them was my book of the month pick, and then everything else I bought in store for full price. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the books I actually did get from Book Outlet. The first being In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I love this cover, by the way. I think this cover is so pretty. I've never read a Ruth Ware book, but she writes mystery thrillers. This one follows our main character as she is invited into the woods for a friend of hers, I believe, like engagement party, or for a wedding. It might actually be her friend's wedding. But like, she hasn't actually spoken to her friend in a while, and she really doesn't know the rest of the people here. And then I think one by one people start dying, and it's just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So yeah, I've been wanting to read Ruth Ware for a while now, especially because I find myself getting more into thrillers, and I've never read a Ruth Ware book, and this is the one that's always sounded the most interesting to me, and Book Outlet had it for a great price, so I went ahead and picked it up. The next one I got is This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills, and this is the hardback edition, which I totally didn't know is like this absolutely gorgeous cover. Like, that is just so pretty. So this is about our main character Sloane, who befriends this set of twins, and they become very close. And the twins' late mother was actually a painter, and one of her paintings suddenly goes missing, and it's basically about Sloane and these twins going on a journey to figure out what happened to this painting. And yeah, I've heard really great reviews about this one. Love the cover, and it just sounds really interesting, so I went ahead and picked it up. The next one is a book I'm actually currently reading, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This follows our main character Lucy, who is the assistant to one of the heads of this publishing company, and her arch nemesis Joshua Templeton is the assistant of the other company head, and they hate each other. They spend every day going to work and making each other as miserable as possible, and along the way Lucy discovers that maybe it's not hatred that she feels for Joshua, but maybe something else. Definitely this is chick lit, which is not my genre at all. I don't read chick lit, and it takes a lot for me to even read new adult. But I've seen such high praise for this, and a lot of booktubers I really trust have just raved about how much they love this one. So I picked it up in August to actually read, and I'm a little bit more than halfway through with it, so yes. Expect a wrap-up for this one in September. The next one I got was Unwind by Neil Schusterman, and this is basically the first book in a 4-book dystopian series. This is really classical YA dystopian, and I've wanted to read this series for a supremely long time, but it is impossible to find this first book because it was printed so long ago, so I found it on Book Outlet, had to snatch it up. This is basically in a futuristic world where people, instead of arguing about pro-life, pro-choice, they have the option now that when you discover your baby or your child has like a physical or mental disability, you have the option to unwind them. And so it's about these kids who are like set to be unwound, and it's about them basically just fighting to survive. So yeah, like I said, this is very classical YA dystopian, but I've never read it, and it's considered a staple in the genre, so I would definitely like to read this. The next one I have is The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. This is a short little book that has been getting tons and tons of praise on BookTube, and it's got this absolutely gorgeous cover that is so stunning. And this basically follows a group of teens in the 1970s in Alaska, kind of just slice of life as they're just kind of trying to figure out their lives and the people around them and stuff. And I've just heard some fantastic things about this book. I've been wanting to read it for a long time, and so Book Outlet had it for a great price, and I went ahead and picked it up. The last book I got from my Book Outlet order was All of the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders, and this basically follows our 2 main characters, Patricia and Lawrence. Patricia has always had an affinity for nature and for the whimsy, and our main character Lawrence has always been more of a mathematical mind, and he's inclined with technology and engineering. And they were always best friends as kids growing up, and we follow them 10 years later as they're both adults and they're kind of pursuing these gifts that they have in life, and they find themselves basically in the middle of a magic versus technology war. It just sounds really, really interesting. Again, I love the cover of this, and I just think that this is like such a nice size. And I've been wanting to read this book since I first heard about it like a year ago, and Book Outlet had it for a great price, so story of my life, I decided to pick it up. The next book I got was actually my book of the month pick for the month of August, and that is Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. This follows our main character Suzette as she is moving back to Los Angeles to be closer to her family. And we follow her as she actually falls in love with the girl her brother is in love with, but we also follow her brother Lionel as he is struggling with mental illness. I want to say it's possibly bipolar disorder, but I don't remember. And so we're basically following these two characters as they're kind of dealing with these things in their life, and I've also heard that it puts a lot of emphasis on family. So yeah, so this one seems like it's such a great little story. I've been seeing rave reviews about it, so I'm so happy I chose this one as my book of the month pick for August. The next 4 books are all books that I bought in store. So I went into Books A Million and basically just paid to buy these because I wanted them. So this first one is a book I swore I wasn't going to read, but so many people lately have been reading it and loving it, and even some booktubers who swore they also were never going to read it have picked it up and decided to read it. And so I have decided as such that I'm going to read it, and that is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I swore I was done with Cassandra Clare books, but I have made a lot of decisions about books this past month. I have decided I'm going to be reading Lady Midnight. I'm at least going to give this a shot. But I will say this is the last Cassandra Clare book, like I mean at this time, that I will be reading. If I don't enjoy this book, I'm officially going to be done. But so many people have been saying that this is the best series by her so far. So many people have been saying that her writing and her characterization and her plots have just developed so well to this point beyond where they were in the previous 2 series. I've decided I'm going to be reading Lady Midnight, and this will be Cassandra Clare's last chance to catch me as a reader. So I don't know, I'll be reading this next year or something, I guess. The next book I have is First We Were Four by Alexandra Sirui. This basically follows a group of friends who are in this little clique that's almost like a secret society where they have all of these rules, and they basically decide that they're going to go and prank people, and they're going to play tricks, and they're going to basically do it all and try not to get caught. But there's a mystery in here that something has obviously gone horribly wrong, and it's basically just about these friends dealing with whatever they have done. So I know Lala over at Books and Lala has really said high praise for this one. And yeah, it definitely sounded interesting enough, so I went ahead and picked it up. The next book I'm going to mention is one of my most anticipated releases for this year, and that is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. Books A Million had signed copies, so I went ahead and picked mine up there. This basically follows, obviously, our main character, Diana, Wonder Woman, as she meets a young girl washed up on the beach at the Mascara, who is a Warbringer. So she is a descendant of Helen of Troy, and basically where she goes, war follows. And it's basically about Diana trying to teach this young girl to tame her gift. And Diana goes into the like normal human world for a while, and it's all antics. This is the first book in the DC Icon series, which is pairing young adult authors with iconic DC characters. And yeah, I'm super excited for this. I've been hearing really great things. This is obviously the year of Wonder Woman, so I'm excited for this one. The last book I'm going to mention was another one of my most anticipated releases, and that is Dress Codes for Small Towns by Courtney Stevens. This basically follows our main character Billy, who lives in a very small town, and along with Billy and her very close groups of friends called the Hexagon, they decide to save the Harvest Festival for their small town and basically just try to make a change, but also just try to put themselves out there and to try and discover their true identities. Billy in the story deals a lot with gender identity, and I'm not really sure what they identify as, but it's about them discovering that. And I've wanted to pick this up because Courtney Stevens actually said this book is basically Footloose, but with gender fluidity, which on every level is like something I'm so here for. So yeah, I'm super excited. I definitely have been aching to pick this up since it came in the mail. I don't know when I'm gonna have time, but I want to pick it up so soon. I do. Like, so bad. Alright guys, so that was my August book haul. These are all of the books I acquired in the month of August. I would absolutely love to hear what you guys bought in August, or if you have read any of these yet and you'd like to talk to me about them, I'd love that too, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!